On this episode of Rock Down South, we sit down with Miljenko Matijević from the rock band Steelheart. We talk all about how the band started out, the new music, and much, much more. We hope you all enjoy. Let's go. Welcome to another exciting episode of Rock Down South, your home for rock and country music. Today, we had the pleasure of speaking with Miljenko Matijević from the 80s rock band Steelheart. And if you haven't heard of Miljenko or Steelheart, then you are in for a treat. This guy probably has one of the best voices out there. Incredible vocal talent for days, and then some. But not only is he a skilled vocalist, but he also has some great songs. We talk all about how the band got their big break, his near-fatal accident that derailed everything, and the brand new single titled Trust and Love. We also talk about his experience working on the music for the movie Rockstar and what the fictitious band Steel Dragon is up to today. So without further ado, here's the show. Miljenko Matijević, how you doing today, man?
I am doing wonderful. I'm just looking at the beautiful, there's not a cloud in the sky. I'm out on my porch here doing a beautiful interview with you and having a cup of tea, and what a gift it is to be alive. This is it. Life's ticking right now. Might as well enjoy it. And I am.
Yeah. I'm so glad you were able to jump on today. And did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, Miljenko Matijević. Good job, actually.
All right.
Usually people have a difficult time with that, but I think everyone's getting better with it.
Yeah. And I'm excited to talk to you about Steelheart and everything. But first, let's just get back to some of the basics. I think you're originally from Connecticut, right?
Yeah. Well, I was born in Zagreb, Croatia, and came here when I was like 5 years old, and to the United States. But actually, we started off in New York, White Plains, New York, and then we moved back to Croatia, and we moved back again, and then we moved to Connecticut, to Greenwich, Connecticut, and that's where I basically kind of grew up in Connecticut. Rehearsed in Norwalk, which is only like maybe 25 minutes from Greenwich, and so I would say most of my life was Connecticut and then California.
Okay. Are you in California still?
I am in California still. Sunny California. Yes, I am.
All right. Beautiful sunny California. You going to stay there for a little while, or you think you might be leaving with a lot of these people that might be heading out?
You know, I'll be really honest. I am on a kind of like on a 50-50 situation. I love it here. It's beautiful, but it's also maybe time to change the channel. I don't know. When I finish this album, this 30th album anniversary, I got very minimal stuff to sing and it's done. Then I'm going to reassess if I'm staying in LA or not. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. I know we got a lot of rock people moving to Las Vegas and Nashville and all over, but yeah, it's right. Interesting.
Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see. The business is crazy. I don't need to be anywhere to do what I do. I could be in Guam. I could still create music and run my business out of there instead of being in Los Angeles. And you're going to take out a loan when you go into a club or a restaurant out here. It's like it's ludicrous. It's become ludicrous here. I don't know. The rest of the country it's almost $7 a gallon of gas, and it's like $28 for an Impossible Burger. It's like
So in California now, you started in Connecticut. Now, when did the band officially start? Because I know that you guys had the band together and had some traction overseas before getting a record deal.
Yeah, well, we were together for, I forgot, was it like, I don't even remember anymore, 10 or 13 years, something ridiculous. We were rehearsing. We were so tight, nobody looked at us, and it was pretty weird. We had a couple of showcases, and all the A&R, they all had something to say, they wanted something to say, well, this is not right, and this is not right. Until I took a trip to California. I made a 4-song demo, and I said, I'm going to Hollywood to become a star. And literally went that Friday, met up with this manager, on Monday. It was on a Monday, and he was leaving that night to go back to his office in New York, which, by the way, he wanted nothing to do with me, because he was staying with his producer. And I met the producer, and he's listening to the songs. He's like, well, we should change this. Maybe we should change that. Well, wait a minute, hold up, maybe this. And then he looks at me, he goes, it's done, isn't it? Doesn't need anything. I go, no, it's done. The whole album is finished. All you got to do is record it properly. So when Stan came up, the manager, he says, yeah, you should really listen to this. This is really, really legit. This is good. And he goes, I'm sure you're great. You look good. I'm sure you can sing great, but I can't take on another act. I am full. I can't think straight. And the other guy goes to him, Stan, you should really listen to this. Give it a second. You need to listen to this. And he goes, okay, I'll tell you what. Here's my address, my office in New York. Send me the tape there, and I'll have a listen. So as soon as I left the apartment there, where we met, I went right to FedEx, and I FedExed it to him overnight to his office. So when he came in the office next morning, from LA, he came in, and literally, I kid you not, he left a voicemail on my answering machine. I'm listening to Angel Eyes in the background. He hasn't even made it through the first chorus. He said, he goes, you prick, you're right. It's that good. Call me. We need to make a deal. Hung up. I came home Tuesday, right? Called him, said, can you meet tomorrow in New York? Great. Came in Wednesday to New York. Came in. He said, okay, let's work together. I want to work with you guys. Let's just do it. I go, okay, great. We got a verbal agreement. Great. Done. Friday at 5 p.m., he calls me. He goes, just want to let you know you're going to be signed to MCA Universal. Have a good weekend. Boom. That's how fast it happened.
Wow.
And and it's like, it was crazy, right? So then that came together. We went out to California. We made a record. We made a beautiful, amazing record. And
awesome record.
Yes, thank you. And then we came back, and we were sitting on our ass again, nothing happening. And it was just really discerning. And months are going by, and all of a sudden my manager goes, we're going to Japan because we got some traction. Looks like things are happening in Japan. But he didn't tell me how big it was happening in Japan. So he and I went for some press, and I get off the plane, and there was probably 300, 400 people waiting for me at the airport.
Whoa.
It was like, it was crazy. I was like, I wasn't ready for that. So you remember, you got 10, 13 years, whatever it was, of rehearsing, doing nothing, making a record, sitting around, not doing any major shows, and you come to a country and you are super famous. It's like, okay, I'm not quite ready for this, And but it was wonderful. It was so amazing. And She's Gone was just really, really connected with all the people, and it became huge. And shortly after, we released the record, and it sold 35,000 albums in the first day. And back then, you got to remember, it was $50 an album in Asia. And then we went back there, and we did 3 shows in Japan, which went amazing. And then Universal kind of felt like, we got to do something. We got to step it up. And then they kicked in, and then it started connecting here in the United States. So it actually started in Utah, Salt Lake City, where a DJ was playing Angel Eyes, I'll Never Let You Go, late night. And the people were starting to call in, hey, that's a great song. We love that song. Play that song again, play it again. And boom, it went to number 1 on that station. And when it went to number 1 on that station, it just spread like wildflower. It just blew up. So, and there you go, in a nutshell, overnight success, right?
Years of work put in for the overnight success.
I got to tell you, all the people listening, you guys have no idea what it takes to be an artist. It is so much focus, love, dedication, energy, belief, courage. I mean, I speak for all the artists, what it takes to be an artist, because, and all we all look for is for the recognition of being accepted, and that is the best feeling when that does happen. So here we are, 30 years later,
30 years later. And I mentioned, yeah, that 1990 self-titled album is a fantastic, incredible vocals, incredible guitars. And, of course, I think I've heard you say this, before, had this album come out in 88, things might be a different story than when it came out in 90.
Yeah.
I've heard similar things. We chatted with Steve Brown from Trickster, and his whole mindset is great. He's just happy that he got a little piece of the ride while it was happening.
Right. Yeah, man. Hey, whatever life presents to you, with me, we got cut short for my accident. That was an abrupt cut.
Yeah, 92, right?
Yeah, 92. That was the 49th show. And then we said, no, we were on 49th show. My manager says, hey, we want to do 50th show. Let's do 50 and call it a day, take a break and we'll come back on the next leg. It's like, yeah, sure. Sounds great. But, we didn't foresee the lighting truss collapsing on my head. And basically I should have been dead on that stage without a doubt. But I made it through, the gods kept me alive. And I feel like I'm here to do bigger, greater things, and that's what I kept going. I have to tell you that accident was no joke. It was a really, really difficult thing to come out of because I lost memory. I couldn't blink.
You were in bed for months, right?
7 months in bed.
Oh my
7 months. I could not leave the house because my brain swelled and it hurt so much just to, going to walk to the bathroom was beyond. People who have major migraines understand this because when your brain swells, you can't move, and just blinking is the most painful thing you can imagine. So, so when I made it through that, then I started getting foggy, and then I started losing memory. And it was just terrible. Like I wouldn't be able to keep a conversation. The focus was just completely off. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how the hell I put it all together. But one neuropsychologist was able to say to me, after I went through many psychologists and many neurosurgeons, they all said I was fine. And I knew I wasn't fine because I'd find myself driving, let's say from Milford to Boston, which is a 5-hour drive, and wake up in the car, where the hell am I, kind of thing. So that's not fine. You know what I mean? To me, that's there's something definitely wrong. But she was able to explain to me when I started talking to her. She thought I was on drugs at first, like that I was doing LSD or I was acid and mushrooms and all of that. I was like, no, I'm clean. I'm clean. And she asked me, hey, did you get hit in the head? I go, I was just getting to that. She goes, okay, well, let me explain to you what happened. This is what's happening. And it's up to you to put it back together. It's only you can do it. And I was like, okay, how do I do this? So little by little, I started writing things down and try to remember, just practicing the memory aspect. And also reading and try to remember, comprehend what I'm reading, just to drill that, I guess, how can I say, just keep drilling the memory into my brain and the thoughts. As the brain is, and the thoughts are going all over the place, try to harness them back in. Oh man, it was a shit show. Excuse me, I had to say that one. And I think finally now, the last 5 years is the first I started being more and more really clear. But all this time, it's always been a little bit of a, fog. So here I am, and lucky to be alive.
Well, we're certainly glad that you made it through that and had that recovery. And now, like you said, you're back. You came back definitely earlier than that. I know you put out multiple albums, and especially the latest album that you put out was really good, really heavy, really fun. I liked that album.
Thank you.
And then you have the brand new single that is out, Trust in Love. I know you got a music video for that and have released it in multiple languages. But tell me about that song.
Well, that song is a special song. That song was focused and written about putting people together. It wasn't like a, normal Steelheart record, it was more of a universal record. I originally wrote it for the unification of the Korean Peninsula. I do a lot of work in Korea. She's Gone is still the #1 karaoke song since 1989.
Wow.
It's crazy, beautiful. Thank you. I accept. And anyway, I was watching the news one night, and it was such a everything was just I'm going to bomb this, and I'm going to do this, and the human trafficking and the kids trafficking. I'm like, oh God, here's a country that is separated, and I know this from my own country, Croatia, how it's been separated, and I loved when it was unified as Yugoslavia. Anyway, I went to the piano, and the song just started writing itself. It immediately was just trust and love, trust and peace. I can't live till I know I'm free. It just really came together so quickly. So I wrote the song in English, and then I had it translated in Korean. And as it grew, I realized I was like, wow, this is even greater than that. This should be more for the world. And I said, well, maybe I should sing it in my language, in Croatian. I should sing it, at least for my people, give them some kind of respect to my country. And then from there, I was like, well, Italy's across the channel, so why not sing in Italian? So I sang it in Italian. And I was like, well, shit, if I sang in Italian, I got to sing it in Spanish. I mean, Spanish is the second biggest language in the world. So I sang it in Spanish. Then I said, well, shit, South America, I better do Brazil. So I did Portuguese. and then it was like, well, shit, I got to do Chinese. That's huge. So I did Chinese, Portuguese,
Wow.
Russian, Italian. I'm still working on now the Swedish, German, and French. And I, without a doubt, want to do Arabic as well. So I did Russian also.
Oh, wow.
I think they could use a little love, And what's beautiful about it is the song came together simply. It has a soul of its own. It's not me pushing it. It's not me forcing it. It's not me, demanding it. I was just kind of like the catalyst and the guy to guide whatever's guiding me to create, what has been created. And it started during the pandemic in 2019 when it really hit hard. I was like, I need to have a chorus with a lot of people if it's going to unify a lot of people. So how am I going to do this with a pandemic? Because I had a whole choir set up. I had everything together, and they got, squashed because of the pandemic. So what I did is I put the lyrics in the chorus. I sang the chorus and put it up on my website. And I asked all my fans, please send me in a vocal. I don't care if it's on the phone. I don't care if it's professional. I don't care. I just want your energy and your love on the chorus. And I want you to be a part of it. So I got close to 350 people who sent in their vocal.
Oh my gosh.
And I was able to mix it all in. Some were great singers and some were not so good singers, but it didn't matter. I wanted the love. I wanted the energy. I wanted the unification of people. And you wouldn't believe the passion the people, they sang into the microphone there. They sent it to me. It was beautiful. So I put everybody in there. Everybody's in there. And then we did a whole orchestration, and we recorded the orchestra in Macedonia, which you would know. We did a 40-piece orchestra, and it was spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And when we finished that, then we needed a video, and that was a whole nother challenge, because recording this song in 10 languages alone is a task. I'm sure you can understand, because I connected with different artists around the world, and we translated the lyrics to make sure they work right, so it's making sense and it works with their language. Because a lot of languages have different, how would I say, let's say like Japanese is not, you can't just say black and white. It has to be more subtle and more poetic, and it's just a different vibe, So that was intense, but it was amazing to do, because once I start getting the dialect and the nuances of the language, and the key thing is for me not to sound an American trying to sing Chinese or trying to sing Japanese or trying to sing Portuguese. I need to sound authentic. And I feel we really connected on that. And I'm getting a lot of thumbs up that it was done correctly. And I'm really excited for the world to hear all the languages. We just finished Hindi. It's just been mastered. It's gorgeous, Anyway, so I'll go back to the video. When the video started coming together, I thought, well, let me focus back to the original Korea, and let me bring the heritage back, their culture, the depth where they started with, where love started, where they lived as one. And I found here the Korean Friendship Bell, which is here in San Pedro. It's a sacred place. It's a beautiful place. And it's this 18,000 ton bronze bell, which signifies peace and the unification of 12 countries that came together. And I was like, I need to shoot the scene there. It needs to be done there. So I reached out to the Korean Culture here Center in California, and we had a dinner with the director and the director of the park and some other people who were involved in the powers of be, so to speak. And at the end of the dinner, we're all hugging and we said, we're going to make a video. And they opened their arms and the doors to whatever I needed. And then I said, hey, we'd like to get some dancers. Can we get some dancers? So we got these Korean dancers. And I said, I picked out the colors, what they should wear. And then we did this amazing, which I feel is really this intro where I do the dialogue of what I was saying about putting people together and the unity and the unification and the love. And myself and the director of the Korean Culture, we strike that bell. And the bell is, how can I say this? It's a sacred bell. It's not everyone is allowed to go near it. It's nevertheless to strike it. So that was the whole vision, to hit the bell and to resonate, to send a message to the world. There's a better way. There's a better understanding. There's a new level of understanding. And that's really the message of the song. The message of the song is to put people together and to raise our vibration of a new way of thinking, because the old way we already done for centuries and it's not working. I mean, everyone's still fighting, still angry, and now more than ever. It's kind of interesting. I wrote a song for unification, and it seems like things are just, it's almost like life is throwing a major test at us,
Yeah.
And we have one man that is testing the world. It's absolutely bizarre, and it's delicate. And here I am writing a song of unification, but I really feel we are really close to rising to that new vibration of thinking. But I think we're running against a wall here to absolutely be sure that we're ready, and maybe that's what it is. So anyway, I hope everyone enjoys the video. It was done with love, honesty, and not only that, over 700 people came together to make that video. That's like a movie. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I am, I don't know. I hope it will bring more people together, when people hear it, for the rest of the world.
Well, it's an absolutely beautiful music video that I watched with you guys ringing that big bell with what looks like a log. I mean, it's a massive thing that you guys rang the bell with. Yeah, excellent song. I'm so glad you're translating in all these different languages. Definitely the world needs to hear this right now.
Right. And you know what it is? The difficult thing is that there's so much music out there that it's like we are working so hard to have the world hear it. But I think it's more of an organic thing that the world needs to just accept it and take it on its own. We can present and push as much as we can, but there's so much music, as you know, 70,000 songs a day are put up on Spotify. It's just become ludicrous. So how does everyone get heard? You know what I mean?
Right, right. And speaking of getting heard for the first time, the way that I actually heard you was probably the way a lot of people did, at least the people that are younger like me, was through the movie Rockstar.
Mhm.
I watched the movie and I listened to the songs. I said, these songs are incredible. These vocals are incredible. I said, who sings this? I need more of this in my life. Of course, I found out Steelheart was behind that and you. And so that's kind of how you got on my radar
Oh,
because I'm only 33. But I absolutely love those songs on that soundtrack that you guys did. And I did hear that you might be revisiting that to some extent.
yeah. Well, life has mysterious ways of working, right? Just when you think you're going to do one thing, it throws you to do something else, which I'll tell you later what happened when I was with the Doors. But yeah, that movie was an amazing experience. The songs, yes, were great. We All Die Young, as we know, is a song I wrote that's on my Wait album. And we're going to re-release that now as a single because when that movie was released, for those of you who don't know, that song was going to radio. That was the first single, and Warner Brothers was really, really behind it. And they shot a great video for it. And the movie was number 2 in the box office that weekend in September. And then on the Tuesday morning, on September 11th, when September 11th happened, the president, George Bush, he banned any song on radio with the word die, kill, or blood. And it immediately just ruined the release of We All Die Young.
Oh.
And the movie. Everything just collapsed. So the song hasn't had its day in the sun. So we're going to release it now. We're going to release it with the Steelheart 30th. It's remixed, remastered, and we're going to put that out. So
Nice.
let's see if it catches.
That'd be wonderful. I think that movie's become somewhat of a cult hit that's still in the zeitgeist, with people like Michael Starr from Steel Panther appearing in it, Miles Kennedy appearing in it, amongst others. It still seems like it's coming back around in conversations.
Well, on a good note, I'm working on putting the band back together. That's like
Oh,
kind
wow.
of like a Spinal Tap. I'm putting the band together. Well, I had it together in 2019, and we had a show in Pompano Beach, Florida, and the band was me, Zach Wild, Jeff Pilson, and Jason couldn't do it, but Matt Sorum was going to do it.
Oh,
And
wow.
Steel Dragon, very much alive. But the pandemic hit, and it ruined that. So we try to move it to the end of the summer. It ruined that. We try to move it to Christmas. We moved that. Try to move it to next year. It ruined it. So now we're at a position again that everything's open. So there's talk about it, and maybe we can pull it together. I would love to, but as we all know, scheduling, all kinds of things happening. So we'll see how it comes together. Fingers crossed.
Yes, we need more Steel Dragon. We need some more of that.
Yeah.
It needs a second act because I feel like it was
Yes.
just getting started.
I think what I'd like to do is do the put the band back together and do kind of like a little movie about it. Put it back together, put the band back, like a Spinal Tap situation. But we shall see. We'll see how it comes together.
So these next questions are what we close with and ask everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So first question, what would you tell your 21-year-old self?
Shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. I would, without a doubt, I would definitely know how to guide him. And this is where managers need to listen. It's a psychology thing. When you're younger, you're full of fire, and of course you think you know everything, and you got this energy, and you got this knowledge, you got these vocals, but it's a little bit of how to slow it down. I would say to myself, let's just slow you down for a second, and we'll move faster. So that's one thing I would say.
Good answer. Next question. What are you drinking lately? If you don't drink alcohol, it could be anything refreshing you like to drink.
As I'm drinking right now, cup of tea, honey, lemon. I mean, I'm always drinking teas, keep hydrated. As a singer, that's the best thing for me. It always has been.
So as you know, this is Rock Down South. So what is something that you love about the South?
The hospitality, the I would say the nice people. I like the South. Nice people. I like the energy, the vibe, and I look forward to coming back and getting some of that Southern hospitality.
Hey, thank you so much, Miljenko, for being a part of the show today. Where can people find and connect with you online?
Steelheart.com. We are also, just to give you a heads up, we are also going to launch Steelheart TV, which is going to have all the videos, concerts, and for those soon enough we'll announce. We're also got some movies going, and Steelheart official Facebook, Instagram is Steelheart01. We are still struggling to get our Steelheart back because someone's squatting on it, but you can find us at Steelheart, Spotify, everything. Just put in Steelheart and you will find me and the band.
Excellent. You got any new album plans or music going to be released?
Yes, well, we have the Steelheart 30th album coming out, and we are working on a release date for that, which contains She's Gone, re-recorded with piano, vocals, and a 40-piece orchestra. Also, Mama Don't You Cry with a 40-piece orchestra. As you know, Trust and Love has that as well. And Everybody Loves Eileen is re-recorded with a band, more like a live vibe version. We All Die Young, remixed, remastered, and several other songs on that record that's going to be released as a 30th as well. So 10 songs altogether. And another song called In Love, which is piano and 4 cellos. And it's a little soft, but then there's a heavy side of it as well. So yeah, a lot to come. There's so much going on. I'm kind of hanging on, keeping up, so to speak.
Thank you so much for listening to the show today. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I had a really great time chatting with Miljenko. He is no doubt one of the best singers from the 80s rock era, and he still has the pipes today. So make sure to go check out Miljenko and Steelheart on all of their social media pages and give his latest single and music video for Trust and Love a listen. He keeps releasing different language versions, so there's really no excuse why you can't listen to it. Also, be on the lookout for the 30th anniversary album and tour dates, as he may be playing in a city near you. Check all our content at rockdownsouth.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for the latest updates. Please leave us a 5-star review if you can. We would really appreciate it. And as always, the views and opinions expressed by our guests are theirs and don't necessarily reflect our own. I'm Mark, and you've been listening to Rock Down South. See y'all next time.